The hard thing brought me through hell, but also to the other side. The hard thing prompted me to question and doubt, but also provided the pieces I used to build my confidence little by little. It made me ask tough questions, the ones I didn't want to hear the answer to. But it also gave me the power to transform those answers I didn't like. The hard thing meant forfeiting being the expert in my world in exchange for the role of student in a foreign arena. It gave me new ladders to climb, new possibilities to reach for. It showed that true growth requires a willingness to be the beginner. It took some people out of my circle, my work, and in some cases, my life altogether. But it always seemed to open the door to those souls better aligned, those conducive to the journey and the process. Let's remember what the hard thing is beyond the pain, because we all know it brings that. Beyond the challenges, because there are certainly many. Beyond all that exists the hope, the change, and the promise. Robert Frost says the best way out is always through, because it's the chaos, the haze, the darkness of night that shapes us. It's in being broken that we learn to rebuild our world with the pieces. And perhaps most importantly, we learn that such a rebuilding process is possible to begin with. That the now is not mandatory or permanent. The hard thing, as it turns out, is nothing more than a transaction. Turbulence for the view above the clouds. Fear in the moment for confidence in the future. It's learning that although life sometimes appears to paint a picture of conformity and helplessness, there's always a path leading to the very place we need to go. It just asks that we find the courage to walk it. Churchill has said, "The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty." And this beautiful message rings true because from the difficulty is the advantage. And sure, our first instinct is to see the problem. Our eyes tend to initially fixate on that which is unfortunate. But beyond that is where we get the most incredible things life provides. As if one is removing the shell or outer layer in order to get to the nutrients in the center, the ingredients required for growth, the pieces necessary to experience life at its fullest. And so we must be reminded that those opportunities, they're not rare, they're not reserved for everyone but you. They just tend to disguise themselves as the things we're most inclined to disregard or walk by. But if one finds the courage to move into them, through them, if one can see the difficulty not as a deterrent, but as a bargain, they'll be given everything on the other side. Reality is not changed with a magic wand or the granting of a wish. It's from staring down the hard thing and moving directly into it one little step at a time. Remember the little things, the ones we all come to appreciate, perhaps a little too late. That feeling of comfort our little eyes first understood to be home. Those little conversations we still think about, the ones that shaped us, those little stretches of time we thought would last forever, but to our surprise, had a final moment written into the story. Oh, those little things. I was once told that to become who you might be, you have to walk away from what you are. That maybe I couldn't see it at the time, but somewhere locked away in the depths of my soul existed the spark, the flicker of light that would change everything. All I had to do was find it, those footsteps that define your destiny, a symphony that becomes your soundtrack, wind for your sails. They hear the song that will guide your journey, and your pockets, they can be empty if your heart is full. The book can be unwritten if you hold the pen. The path can be unclear if you just trust yourself. This is the lens that illuminates your world. And when you fall, promise to get back up. When you feel misplaced, remember that getting lost is how you find yourself. When you're scared, know that it's darkest before the dawn. These are the stairs that will take you higher. Tired is not defeated. Wandering is not lost. Vulnerability is not weakness. Mistakes are not defining. Hardship is not a deterrent. These are pages in the story you're writing, and it's the story of a lifetime. So pull back the curtains, dance in the moonlight, sing at the top of your lungs, so that every soul from here to infinity ignites. Life is too short to miss a moment, too beautiful to overlook. And here you are, with a map, a key, and a horizon waving you on. So follow it through the airwaves, past the mountains, beyond the desert. Follow it until your legs are weak and your eyes wide. Let it be the song that carries you home. This is the story of a lifetime. You were made to rise, to take your pain and convert it to purpose, to take your struggle and transform it into meaning. In a world of concession, of self-sabotage and defeat, you were made to rise. And so it's critical that you look around at where you are now and adjust your lens. It's critical that you see the present moment not as an ending, the culmination of wrong turns or broken plans, but as the beginning of what all that will be turned into. the start of the next chapter, a new road. Because you were made to rise. Life has an interesting way of not pushing us to be more until our backs are against the wall, until we've fallen or found ourselves where we don't belong. But it's down in the ashes that we're presented with this blessing, that we're given the chance to be more than we've ever been. You weren't made to look around and call this diminished reality home. No, you were made to rise. Life is about decisions, what to accept and what to cut away. And it's in our moments of distress that we must find our calm, when we feel low that we must remember the heights we're capable of obtaining. Look, our great lessons, they often feel like defeat, like hopelessness. But see beyond that narrative. Look in the mirror and know that what looks back at you isn't the problem. It's the reason you'll succeed someday. You'll see the present as the moment that made you, the days that shaped you, just as a sculptor arrives at his masterpiece. So stand up, brush yourself off and look up, because that is where you're going. Now is where it begins. You weren't made to accept what is. You were made to rise. Sometimes I wonder why. Why does this season of life feel like it's one undesirable outcome after another? What happened to the law of averages? When is the wind? Where is the light at the end of the tunnel? Why would I continue going in this direction when it feels like that spot on the horizon I've been chasing has eluded me? Why are my results not aligning with my output? It's hard to wake up and do this. It takes all of me to give this much. Sometimes I wonder, where is the delayed gratification everyone speaks of? Where's the fruit of my labor? The arm on my shoulder that says this is why it was all worth it? Why hasn't the payoff shown itself? Why does it seem like every curveball materializes at the worst possible time? Why won't my body cooperate now when I need it most? Why does my mind play with the worst case scenarios? Why does an already challenging path have to be more difficult than it is now? How many ways do I have to feel pain? Why does discomfort follow me around? Why won't life let me shake this? Well, maybe, just maybe, it's to show you how strong you are, what you can endure. Because deep down in your soul, you know you are the 1%. Because if you can push through this, you can push through anything. And I don't know why life gives us its lessons when it does. Why the world seems to stack it on when we're at our most vulnerable, when the ground beneath us is most unstable. But if you can find the courage to step back and see this for what it is, if you can hold on to the idea that this is happening for you, you'll come out of this a different person. You don't need to perform a miracle when you're at your lowest. No, the courage, the power, the strength is in showing up. You need to continue forward. Let go of the week, the month, the year. Sometimes we are tasked with pushing through the moment, the hour, surviving the day. And sometimes there is nothing more courageous than that. Nothing more powerful than seeing what it turns into down the road, when we look over our shoulders and are grateful we never stopped. So yes, this season might seem like a non-stop barrage of obstacles and misfortune. Why? Perhaps because it's life allowing you to plant your seed now, so that when spring comes around, you are provided something you've never had before. You arrive at that spot in the horizon you've been aiming at. And yes, the results might not feel like they're aligning with your output. Why? Perhaps because when the compounding reaches that magical point, that point of statistical significance, and the desirable things happen, then as quickly as the difficult ones do now, it'll all make sense. You'll appreciate it, value it, and be equipped to handle it. And yeah, life might seem to be throwing you curveball after curveball. Why? Perhaps because if you can trudge forward now when your body is tired, while navigating the trials and tribulations of life, when you can bring greatness into existence under duress, just imagine what waits around the corner. Imagine how you'll perceive those seemingly impossible obstacles that slow everyone else down. There'll be nothing more than a cool breeze and a sunny day as you move towards your best self. Look, it's hard to understand when we are in it. It's hard to make sense of the dark and the chaos and the hurt. But find a way to remember, no matter how hard it seems, that this life is happening for you and not to you. This is the seed in the palm of your hand that will mean something, that matters. So hold on to see that seed begin to rise from the ground. Hold on to feel the warmth of the sun. Hold on through the storms of life. They will be why when you look back years from now. You'll have gotten from life that which was once merely a dream. In 1519, Hernan Cortes arrived on the shores of Mexico with roughly 600 Spaniards. They quickly realized that a mighty empire waited for them inland. Cortes ordered his men to destroy the ships behind them, symbolizing the valiant push forward with no return. Everything would be on the line. Over the years, this act has become folklore. evolved into the famous phrase, burn the boats. Why is this an important idea? Doing anything meaningful is hard, and when you're in the heat of metaphorical battle, when you're facing adversity and challenges, growth comes with discomfort. Our instinct is to want out when we are in pain. Our brain's default is, how do I stop the pain? But if you give yourself off-ramps, you'll take them. If you allow for a plan B, it will become more and more appealing. The mentality should be to give it your all until it's inconvenient. When the road before us asks more of us than we've ever given, we have to kick the ladder down behind us. We have to create outcomes. We have to take that next step and inject ourselves into a journey that will be unlike anything we've ever experienced before. A journey where we have the answers, the aptitude, and now the self-belief. Your existence is derived from how you choose to look at the world around you. Your outlook is either creating you or destroying you. We have to be cognizant of the reasons, the explanations, the stories we tell ourselves. We have to be aware of how we rationalize everyday occurrences. We have to ask ourselves, are we seeking out solutions to the right problems? What's the root cause? What's the actual reason? The truth is, if you don't have a good story to tell, a $5,000 or $10,000 camera is not going to help you. You have to learn what captivates, what inspires. Learn how to articulate your thoughts and ideas. Learn how to bring what's in your mind to life. Your confidence, the ability to understand that a life of no risk or criticism is a life of very little reward. Expectations don't matter. What matters is your happiness, your progress. Fix your mindset. Change how you see the world around you. Life is built by quiet believers, those who see what is not and transform all that is. They understand the subtle line that separates truth and perception. They get that dancing to a beat means sometimes you dance alone. They understand that inspiration is perishable, so they act on it immediately. They know that success is about having the courage to change even one thing. They recognize that every moment is a new beginning. They are the wizards that fly around in a young author's head, the entrepreneurs starting a business in their garage, the quiet believers who shape their own world. They understand that life is about the journey, not just the destination. They see the world differently, and they have the courage to act upon their beliefs. So embrace your inspiration, act on it immediately, and let it transform into action. Be a quiet believer shaping your own world and creating a life that is truly meaningful. Remember, a lot can happen between now and never.